Hello everyone and welcome back to the 31 Days of THORGIWEEN, and all month long I've been spotlighting some recent horror comics that you can go into your local comic book store and buy right now. But this is our final episode for the year, and there's still so many good books to cover. So today, I'm going to cram an entire Monster Mash worth of comics into one single episode as I go rapid fire through 6 different books. Are you ready? Let's begin. Dark Art is a brand new series from Aftershock Comics. In fact, only one issue of it is out so far, so if you want to begin this title, it's real easy to jump on board. Basically, it takes the story of Noah's Ark, of the man who was told by God to build an ark and gather aboard 2 of every animal to make sure that they could survive the biblical flood, and it asks, what happened to all the other creatures? This is the story of a man and his family who were warned of the flood by the devil and told that while Noah gathered the animals of nature, he had to gather the animals of darkness. Nagas, manticores, vampires, every mythical creature you can think of, but not all of them are monsters. There's actually a really touching and heartbreaking scene in the first issue of 2 unicorns on this boat cowering from all these beasts, asking themselves, why are they here? They served the Lord, they did as he asked, why were they abandoned, and now to survive they have to remain on this ark full of terrors? But the real tension of this book comes from what will happen with these beasts when each of them have to feed. I mean, these aren't animals that you can lock in cages, they're thinking, horrifying creatures, and they're hungry, and their diet largely consists of humans. Next up is Croak. I talked about this book earlier this year, so I won't cover it for too long, but I just wanted to return to say that it has now fully wrapped up and I enjoyed it all the way through. I found it to be a great creepy story of monsters in the woods, and I also wanted to revisit it so that I could say, sorry I spent that entire episode mispronouncing its name. I'm a grown-ass man who has lived his entire life not knowing how you spell croak. I'll admit to that. Lazaretto is a new series from Boom, and it's an interesting way of doing an infected storyline without having to just do another zombie story. This is the story of 2 kids who just moved to college, only for a deadly new virus to break out on campus, and now the 2 of them are trapped inside a dorm that has been sealed away for quarantine. It's a rare story that takes those fears of everything that could go wrong when you move away from home to college and merges them with that fear of having a virus slowly killing you and everyone around you. The 2 kids it follows are the only straight-edge good kids in a dorm full of people who just want to drink, party, smoke, and do drugs, and when this virus starts tearing through their system, those students go from party animals to actual animals, and our heroes are trapped inside with them. Now, what if you like classic monsters, but you don't want something scary? You want something action-filled and just crazy fun? Then I'm going to throw in there Made Men. This is the story of the descendant of Dr. Frankenstein, and she uses her ancestors' knowledge to make herself stronger, more durable, but that can't help her friends when they're all led into an ambush and are each blown away and murdered. Well, Frankenstein uses her family's teachings to resurrect each of her fallen comrades, but they didn't come back the same way. Something is off with each of them, but that won't stop them from hunting down those who attack them and taking them out one by one. This book is basically a monster film if it took place in the Fast and the Furious universe. It's full of action, sex, violence. It's just a book that decided to go nuts with its concept, and I actually applaud them for that. Not Drunk Enough is a webcomic that's been around for years, but it just recently finally came out in physical trade. It's the story of Logan, a repairman who shows up to a giant office building one night, only to be locked inside and discovers the whole building has basically been plunged into hell. There's something happening here in this building that isn't natural. Some experiment they've been carrying out that went wrong, and now it's basically turned this entire building into an isolated Silent Hill. I really dig this book for the characters and their distinct designs, but mostly for the atmosphere. The real star of this book is the building itself. The artist is able to perfectly capture that feeling of being trapped in a place full of monsters. When our characters are scared to go down a corner, you buy it because the artist designed a damn scary corner. And lastly, we're going away from American comics and talking about one of the best horror mangas I've read in a while, I Am Hero. This is the story of a struggling manga artist whose life is falling apart. He had a serialized manga once, but now he's forced to be an assistant and work with other artists that he hates. And he's a superstitious coward who freaks out at every single bump and creak he hears at night. In fact, he's such a nervous wreck, he actually talks to imaginary friends and has entire daydream sequences where he talks to people only to reveal he's been mumbling under his breath for the past 10 minutes because he was too afraid to actually say anything. Man, poor guy. I hope nothing else goes wrong in his life. Oh wait, the zombie apocalypse starts. Now, I'm not going to show you too much of this book simply because, well, it's gross. It's really disturbingly gross. Like you might think, oh, I can handle zombie grossness. Not like this, you can't. This is beyond anything that you have seen in any other zombie story. I had to stop reading it a few times just to get through it. But if you can handle that, it's actually one of the best zombie stories I've ever read. Not only is the protagonist just perfectly not suited for this type of adventure, basically making this book the sad version of Shaun of the Dead, but also this book takes a long time to set up its characters and its world. And because of that, not only do you really get a sense of these characters and who they are, but also it takes so long to introduce the idea of zombies. They don't just pop up and start running wild. You hear about them for days, weeks before they actually start appearing. How long does it take? This is the first volume of I Am Hero. This massive, thick book is the first volume. And the zombies don't actually start attacking until... there. This is the slowest burn I've ever seen in a zombie story, and it actually makes that feel so much more real. If zombies popped up, they wouldn't just be everywhere overnight, it would take time, and that makes when they finally are everywhere in this story feel so much more effective and so much more terrifying. It really is just a slow-moving creature that snuck up on you, much like an actual zombie. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This was our final spooky recommendation of the year. I hope that you enjoyed each and every one of them. We'll be back again next week with a regular episode of Comic Class, but for now, I hope that you enjoy the rest of THORGIWEEN, as we're going to continue to have spooky episodes of our regular shows every single day for the rest of this month. So come back for each and every one of those, and as always, happy Halloween.